An official welcome to the first Columbia Valley Business Roundtable. Thrilled that you guys have all made time for this. We hope to do these every Wednesday for the month of April, and then we'll reassess and see what the frequency needs to be for May and beyond. We are, as I mentioned, Jess and I will co-host these, and we're pooling our respective meetings and groups and networks that we're in and trying to translate and download all that information and be able to answer any questions that you folks have in the business community. We'll also look at, in the coming weeks, at some guest speakers. So if you are in need or wanting to hear from anybody in the community, whether it's like the Basin Business Advisors Program, Community Futures, CBT, any folks that you think might be beneficial to have on a call like this, certainly let us know, and we will reach out to them, and we'll try to invite them into this meeting and get their feedback and have that realm for you as well. On that note, we do have, for those folks who are Invermere business owners, we have a panel session tomorrow with Mayor Miller and Interim CEO Kindry Lyondike and CFO Karen Cote. That's at 11 a.m. tomorrow, Thursday 16th. And then on Friday, we just released yesterday that we will be hosting a MP and MLA. So we'll have MP Rob Morrison and MLA Klobuchar on the call on this Friday, 11:30, and they'll give an update on their respective roles and seats in government, and hopefully be able to help interpret some of the programs that are coming down the way for you as well. So, Jess, if there's anything else you'd like to add at the outset here, you can unmute yourself and jump in.
No, not on the outset. But yeah, I really thank everyone for coming. We're really excited to be hosting these roundtables. As a group of really dedicated people in the community working really hard on our business community. I know our business community is working really hard as well. So we're really looking forward to hearing from you all today and continuing to connect over, at least the next few weeks throughout the rest of this month and throughout the rest of, our current COVID-19 situation.
Perfect. So being the first one today, we've got a bit of a short PowerPoint. Jess and I will trade back and forth on it. Just to kind of bring you up to speed. Some things you may be aware of, some things might be new to you, but in any case, we just wanted to share what's been going on our side and behind the scenes. And again, I just encourage you to make a comment in the chat group or ask a question in the chat group, and we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and share the screen here for 1 sec. Oops. Okay, so everyone should be able to see my screen now. It's a PowerPoint presentation. You can give me the Zoom thumbs up or the Zoom wave if you can see it. Yeah, perfect. So again, Columbia Valley Business Roundtable, welcome. Hosted by myself, Executive Director of the Columbia Valley Chamber of Commerce, along with my colleague here, partner in crime, Jess Fairhart, who's the ED of the Radium Hot Springs Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Radium. And I wanted to highlight on the left-hand side here, every morning for about the last 3.5 weeks since this thing really started being serious, we've had a 9 a.m. call with all of these stakeholders. So Jerry Brightwell from the Ministry of Forest Lands and Natural Resources, Sean Campbell, who's our General Manager at Community Futures, East Kootenay out of Cranbrook, Family Dynamics, Pat Cope, Columbia Valley Economic Development is Ryan Watmow, Jess, obviously, Regional District, Susan Klobuchar's on the call, myself, Eden Yesh from Kootenay Employment Services, and then we've also added Stephen Bagan from, he's helping with Doug Klobuchar's team right now, and we've had other guests pop in and out as well. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but the point of it is that we're getting together every day at 9 a.m. to share what we're doing, what we're learning. We're all in different meetings. We're all trying to navigate this as much as we can as all of you. But this group really feeds that communication that you may have seen coming out from the Columbia Valley, but it's a representation of all of these groups that comes out now Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays via email and e-news. And Pat Carrick and Tony have been great on our team, as well as Jess and I, and try to collate all that data, collate all that information, and get it to you in a single source. So if you haven't seen that, we encourage you to go to the Chamber website, Columbia Valley, so cvchamber.ca. Sign up for the e-news. You don't have to be a member. Just if you're a business owner or somebody that wants to learn more about these things, please sign up and take advantage of that. And we are also trying to use that same website to be the COVID resource for other links and programs as well. So some good news that we're hearing. Government programs are rolling, cash is flowing. I'm hearing people taking advantage of, or not taking advantage of, I'm hearing people receiving their CERB payments. I heard of a business in town that was able to receive their $40,000 government loan in 3 days, which is amazing. It's fantastic access to capital. More programs, as you know, being released each week. We're going to see a lot more coming from the province as they kind of come in behind and fill in the gaps behind what the federal programs are giving us. Seeing great community spirit, collaboration boxes, people being creative with selling each other's products, or combining products and doing gift baskets and various things like that. It's awesome to see. Communication, I feel, is generally flowing well, and the feedback's been quite positive. We're ramping up our business roundtables, like this one starting this week and the other ones that I just mentioned. And really important is that government's listening. So please, and this is what hopefully will come out of this group, please share your stories and circumstances with us. We know that at least what we're hearing is it's not a one-size-fits-all on many of these things. And depending on the person's circumstances, depending on how they run their books, depending on how they set up their company, there's lots of different nuances that may or may not fit the programs that they're offering. But please know that they're listening, and we have some really strong direct channels through our chamber network and through our provincial and federal networks that we can get the ear of government to let them know if something's not working for somebody. So please share your stories with us. Some not so good news that I just wanted to highlight on. It's not bad news, just not so good. So some businesses and individuals not meeting the program requirements, that's what I was just mentioning. There's some uncertainty and anxiety around what businesses should do. Should we open? Should we open it in a modified sense? Should we utilize programs? Are we going to be burned later in terms of, if there's an audit, do we qualify? Do we not qualify? Were there gray areas? Some mixed messaging, gray areas. And when I hear those things, I think, what can you do? Is just be your best self, make the best decisions with the information that you have in terms of your personal, how you carry yourself personally, how you operate your business, and try not to judge. I know it's difficult, but there's a lot of negativity out there, and people are in this community for so many different reasons. They they're not here because of the color of their plate. They might be here helping in a professional capacity or in an area of need. So we just want to send a message that please don't judge quickly. There's a lot of other folks that are making poor decisions as well. So I'm going to throw it over to Jess just to talk a little bit about, she's really engaged with the Destination BC, and obviously we're a tourism heavy region. So Jess is going to jump in and talk about some Destination BC response.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. So as I'm sure many of you guys know, tourism has been one of probably the hardest hit sectors throughout this COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of our businesses have either faced closures due to reductions in businesses, or they've been part of businesses that have had required closures just due to the operational safety requirements. It's been compounded by travel restrictions, as well as border closures, reductions in flights, and just that general statement that we need to currently stay home and do our part to stop the spread so we can get back to business sooner. Destination BC, supporting the public health campaigns, I'm sure some of you guys have seen it online, came up with this really beautiful Explore BC Later campaign. It was a way to encourage people to stay home, was to encourage people to, visit online and reflect online, and to support our communities to remain safe during this time. It's going to also allow us to create some new campaigns going forward to continue to engage, to continue to be top of mind. Because as I'll talk about later, part of that recovery strategy is being ready and open and available once visitors are welcome back into the region. And our tourism economy has wide range impacts on all of the businesses in the Columbia Valley. So we really want to be prepared as we go. Destination BC, and similar to private businesses and your destination marketing organizations, we're really looking at the three-phase response to the challenging situation that we're in. So the first is response. That's where we are right now. We're in crisis. We need to support emergency communications. We've paused all of our paid marketing. And we're really looking at the provincial engagement strategies and how do we support our businesses right now? How do we ensure that our businesses, through programs and support that Pete has talked about, how do we ensure that they're there and they'll still be ready and available for when we can welcome people back into the region? The second is recovery. And that's when travel restrictions are eased and what can we do at that time to engage with our communities? You know, the model is we might see an ease of restrictions in June, we might see that happen in July and August, and hopefully the time frame won't be into the fall this year, and we will be able to do some tourism recovery and welcome visitors back into the region. You know, long term, we have to look at our resiliency. How do we work together to be stronger? How do we get through these storms on a more regular basis? This isn't our first impact. You know, we've dealt with wildfires, we've dealt with flooding in the province, we've dealt with other economic recessions. So we need to come out of this strong and resilient, not only as a tourism economy, but as a large community as well. Destination BC is also hosting weekly industry calls, and they're also providing guiding messages. So those are available for our destination marketing organizations. They're available for tourism operators and tourism businesses throughout the province of BC. And we'll also be looking at some additional messaging that's coming out of Kootenay Rockies Tourism. And again, how we can work together. While we can't encourage travel at the moment, we can still engage our potential visitors from afar so that they'll be ready to visit us in the near future. You're on mute, Pete. Or did you want me to jump in with this one?
Yeah, please. Sorry, bad Zoom etiquette. Go ahead, Jess, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. So as Pete said, the BC Chamber of Commerce has actually been really, really active through its Mind Reader program and through its pulse surveys. I just want to say it's been really great to see so many Columbia Valley businesses engaging in these surveys. If we get a minimal response, I think of 50, then we get to aggregate our own data. So we've been seeing between 60 and 70 responses for each survey. So I'm going to continue to encourage you to complete these surveys. What it does is it's providing that voice to government, it's providing the points of advocacy, and it's creating and Pete, jump in here too, the platforms for which a lot of the policies, a lot of the emergency response funding, and a lot of the federal programs are coming out of this. We provided details on the last one. So we just got this data this week from the last survey number 2. And what we saw was 64 Columbia Valley business response.
Jess, you froze for me. I'm not sure if you're frozen for everybody.
As you can see, the majority of, oh, am I back? I think I'm back. I'm back. Sorry, guys. Yeah, and so what I really wanted to highlight what were some of the impacts that we've seen on businesses. You know, again, not the great news. We've seen an 80% decrease in businesses, or decrease in their business. 80% have seen a decrease in their business. Let me frame that properly. 67% of businesses that responded have closed temporarily. 41% have had to lay off employees. 30% have had to defer or cancel capital projects. And you know, the result from that is the continued ripple effect through other industries that would have probably provided service in some capacity on those capital projects. There's also deferral of new marketing programs, and again, the ripple through all of our industries and services as it affects suppliers and small businesses and operators. But a bit of a good news that I'm going to pull out of this is 19% have seen an increase in online digital or e-commerce business. We're seeing a lot of that transition and businesses spending time to, um, to change their business model at this time, or get their product probably into a place where they might not have had time to spend it, and get it online and really provide those offering and services so people can still participate virtually. We've seen 6% introduce new products into the marketplace. That's really exciting and great to see. And then we've also 2% of businesses have seen an increase in sales volume over this time. So it'd be really great to see potential examples of those businesses, what they've done, and how we continue to support our small businesses to see some of these more results in a really challenging time.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is just, again, a little bit of a reiteration, is working with this Columbia Valley Business Support Team, advocating through the BC Chamber, Destination BC, destination marketing organizations, and elected officials in tourism. I just wanted to highlight, again, so the Mind Reader survey, I believe they're going to do pulse checks every 2 weeks. And to get quality data out of that, we need at least 50 businesses or 50 responses for our region for them to be able to break out that information. So I know there's a ton of emails out there, and I know there's various surveys and things you need to fill out, but I just want to stress the importance of, if you see something coming from BC Mind Reader, it really does help us collect data for our area, which gives us the resources and the tools to fight the good fight when inevitably when programming or funding comes available. We'll be able to provide them quality data that kind of sets the scene for what's happening in our area. Similarly, right now, if you go to the Canadian Chamber website or this website here, they've got a they've launched a business resource website called the Canadian Business Resilience Network, cbrn.ca. And there's also a survey with them right now through Stats Canada. And again, with significant enough response, we would be able to get our data broken out by our region. So please, if you see that survey or if you need the link, just let us know. But please do, please do support and complete those as they come out, because they're really important for gathering data. Anything else, Jess, on the DBC part of this slide? I think you've kind of touched on the response, the weekly calls you're doing.
Yeah, so again, just really important that BC Chamber of Commerce data is being fed in. We have ministers that pop in on our call. Our MLA is the tourism critic in our region. So there's lots of discussion. And again, I can't say enough of what Pete's saying. The data is helping, it's informing policy. And yeah, thanks for engaging in that.
Mm-hmm. Some more supports and services. Government of Canada. I find I don't know if you've seen it, but they have an app, Canada Business app. It's like a green maple leaf. It's been really helpful for me just to have on my phone for quick reviews of programs. It's got all the COVID programs on there, the loan programs, the support programs, the wage subsidy programs, everything else. So go ahead and grab that on your app on your phone if you haven't already. It will also just default you to the canada.ca website, so you can also just look it up online that way. Province of BC also has an app. It's a little bit more on the health side, health heavy right now, but as the government provincial programs roll out, I expect it to be updated that way as well. Local supports we'll talk about on the next slide, and tourism industry responses, the DBCs and the KRTs of the world that Jess just touched on. So again, some more local supports. Regionally, they've got you've got Community Futures, both East Kootenay and Central Kootenay, and Columbia Basin Trust. Columbia Basin Trust were a little were kind of the more recent programs out of the gate. So if you go to their site, they've got a good COVID section on there with some loan programs. The small business loan for them specifically is $5,000 to $25,000. 2% interest rate, I believe, over 5 years. No payments for the first 3 months, interest only for the next 9 months, and then you'd be in a payment schedule beyond that. Community Futures had a similar offer, $20,000 up to $20,000 loans, options with regards to no payments for 6 months and then regular payments or interest only for 12 months. If you're an existing Community Futures client, they were offering loan deferrals as well. Plus they have their business basing advisors program. The Central Kootenai website is really comprehensive in terms of nice, clean website with lots of great information. I will just say as a disclaimer that the CBT loan won't fund if a business or an organization has already received another form of funding. So if you felt, for example, that you were in need of the CBT loan as well as the Government of Canada loan, apply for the CBT one first. And then if you're successful with that, which I believe they are turning around decisions around 5 to 8 business days, then you can go to another product or another loan product behind that. BC Chamber and Canadian Chambers we've talked about. Small Business BC has always done a lot of great online training and education. A lot of their programs on there are free right now, so great time to sharpen your toolkit that way. Government of Canada, as I mentioned, the Canada Business app, and the province of BC as well. I know the province of BC, I believe, in the last couple of days have just been really starting to release their rent assistance programs. So as we learn more about that, we will certainly share that information. And again, some more local supports, both of our chambers of commerce, newsletters, business support connections, Kootenai Employment Services for Work BC, employment insurance, training and education, municipalities, regional districts and economic development, Columbia Valley Food Bank, Family Dynamics, and then Volunteer Columbia Valley, which is a great service. If you have the ability to offer help, you can go on to Columbia Valley, Volunteer Columbia Valley, or Columbia Valley, sorry, Volunteer Columbia Valley. You can go on and register yourself as somebody that can support. I know they have a need for matching people that could grocery shop for people, matching people that can deliver groceries for people. There's a call for seamstresses and folks like that out there right now as well. So definitely check out Volunteer Columbia Valley. And then, yeah, just jump in on the positioning for recovery. I know you touched on it some a little bit already, but maybe some of the projects that are still carrying on during this time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're still, from Tourism Radium, as well as some of our partners, Travel Columbia Valley, Invermere Panorama, DMO, we're still moving forward with projects. I think the priority is to be positioned and to be ready to welcome visitors back and to be able to support our businesses and the ability and our retail and not just our tourism specific businesses, but to be ready to welcome back into the community. Also something that we're encouraging is, I know it's a tough time, but if, we have the capacity, it's a great time to work in and on our businesses if possible. This pause can provide a bit of an opportunity to look at how some of your marketing materials, some of your business operations, can you put more online? Can you do more reservations online for bookings? So, encouraging to take opportunities to do some continued learning, whether it's through Small Business BC, whether it's through the webinars with Community Future Central Kootenai. There's lots of great resources out there for businesses. What we also want to do is ensure that our products and offerings are ready and available for when travel is deemed safe again. So we want to stay connected with, all of our businesses, because we want to know what products are safe, who's operating, when are they online. As the rules change, we want to make sure that our businesses are also ready. So part of that is continuing communications with all of you to find out where your businesses are at, and also how can we support your businesses when we know that travel restrictions are being eased. We're going to continue to work on new marketing materials. I believe there's going to be a really big opportunity. We see travel restrictions will ease in Canada first. People will probably be cooped up and really ready to get out of the house and out of their communities. The Columbia Valley, as you know, we're a relatively quick drive-in market from our Alberta partners. I see this return of the road trip happening for families. It's camping, it's safe, it's affordable. A lot of people already know our region. So I think there's going to be a really great opportunity for the Columbia Valley to be positioned really well for some recovery opportunities. And I think we all just need to continue to work together to have those opportunities available and to be ready at that time. Now's not the time to have those things into the marketplace, but hopefully it will be soon. We're just going to continue to align with our, provincial and regional partners. And I just want to encourage everyone to continue to work together as a community and to support our businesses in our valley and support your neighbors in your community. A good one to share today is, I'm not sure if you guys have seen, but the Canadian Restaurant Association is starting Takeout Wednesday. It's a movement to show some love for our restaurant industry. They're also struggling, but a lot of them have been able to adapt. I know I've probably enjoyed more delicious takeout in the last few weeks than I have in the last few years. So I think Takeout Wednesdays, if you can support your small restaurant industry, I'd encourage you to do that.
Perfect, thanks, Jess. So yeah, moving on to the second half of the meeting is we want to hear from you. So how can we support you today, 30 days, 60 days? What are your current operations, if any? What questions or concerns might you have around that? And then, what challenges or questions do you have regarding the supports available? I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share though, just because I can't see the chat room, and I fear I might be missing some entries in there. Maybe I'll jump.
I'll help moderate that one. Pete, I'll help moderate, and if you need stuff, I'll let you know.
Sure. I think that the questions are pretty clear anyway, so we can go ahead and I'll go ahead and see what's in here. So Kyla Lamb, are restaurants okay with being swamped on Wednesday? Doesn't make it easier for them if we sprinkle it across the week. Yeah, good comment for sure. I think right now, hopefully it's a good problem to have if they're swamped on a Wednesday, but again, I think this is a pretty brand new initiative that's just coming out, so we'll see how it goes. I have a personal takeout Friday, end of the work week, kind of a motto. So I'm not changing my plans. I'm going to stick to Fridays, but yeah. In any case, it's a good one. Joss Brunner, our accountant was under the impression CBT is okay with the government loan, just not any other community-based loans. Yeah, maybe something to confirm with CBT. Yeah, thanks, Joss. I'm trading emails even just up to this morning with our CBT rep for this area, and I'm going to try to get someone from that office on this call, ideally next week, or at least perhaps they can answer those questions for us before then. So it would make sense to me that they would be okay with the government loan as well as, but we'll see if we can clarify that as well. So I don't see any other questions in the chats. If you wanted to do your Zoom raise hand, and I'll keep an eye on the screen. If you have anything you'd like to share with the group or ask, please go ahead and do so. You're all mighty quiet. Joss, go ahead. You're on mute, so I'll just unmute you. There you go. I can't hear you. No, sorry. Maybe just type it into the chat room there. Might be easier for you. Anybody else? Any thoughts, questions? We got Diana Moore in the chat. I have an online store but have challenges getting the word out. Is there a group where we can work collectively to overcome Facebook rules, etc.? Yeah, so we, about a week and a half ago on our group chats in the mornings, we found 3 sites that seem to be fairly good ones for online messaging. They were aidlocal.ca, Thriving Locally, and Close But Open. They all offer slightly different services, but we felt that they were all pretty good options for businesses to throw their products up on, even if it's just simply you're selling gift certificates or doing a modified delivery service if you're a restaurant. Aid Local was created in Calgary. Close But Open, I believe, was created down in Cranbrook or Elk Valley area, and I think Thriving Locally may have come out of the States. I think Thriving Locally is a bit more of a subscription style business, but yeah, those would be 3 that I know of locally. Jess, has there been anything else that's popped up on the online front like that?
No, I think those were kind of the big 3 ones, and then how can we, I guess, also support internally, right, in our own communities, about who's open, who's closed, and sharing that information is something that's come up quite a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if there's other tools that people are using, please share it with this group, because I think that's a really big benefit of this group. I saw Megan Adams in there. Megan Adams owns Mountain Hub and is at risk of advertising falsely. She's a techie online digital genius. And I would encourage you to connect with Megan if she's got the time and capacity to do so. And I'm sure she can help navigate that. She was helping to coordinate the recent digital marketing course done down in Canal Flats through Alacrity Marketing, or digital marketing, and has a wealth of knowledge in the online space. So there's definitely some local resources that you can turn to for things like that. Also, any thoughts and best practice ideas to prep our retail stores for customers? Mayor Miller, I see you're on the screen. Can I lean on you to share what you did for home hardware and some of the best practices that you've been doing with your retail?
Absolutely, Pete. And first of all, thanks for what you're doing here. This is a great information forum that you've got going. Lots of good messaging going on here. So I commend both you and Jessica for what you're doing to help out our community. There's definitely a lot of need. Certainly in our operation, what we've done here is at our checkouts, we've done it sort of on the low key, but we've taped off areas for standing and your spacing for your proper distancing. And it's just a reminder more than anything, but we've really found our customers have taken well to it. And once they see that, they're spaced out well, and so that's working. We've also put up spit screens or the plastic areas at the cashier areas, so that our cashiers are safe as well as our customers. And so those are the two main things. The other thing that we're watching carefully is the quantity of people in the store. Over the weekend, we did actually close the doors at one point. We felt that we had about a maximum capacity for proper social distancing. So we closed the doors and watched for a few minutes until we had some people leave and so on. So just being cognizant of how many people you've got in your shop so that you can properly distance, and the right screens up in front of the cashiers. That's the main things that we've been doing. And obviously a lot of cleaning and sanitizing. So we took advantage of the sanitizer and purchased a bunch from our distillery locally here, and we're utilizing that constantly. So when you enter the store, you're to spray your hands, and as well as when you leave, if you so choose. So those are just a few things that we've been doing.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Mayor Miller. Yeah, I think
Al is good, Pete.
All right, thanks, Al. I think different styles of retail are challenged in different ways in terms of, I'm sure you can't be trying on clothes or touchy-feely as much in certain stores as even the grocery stores are not wanting people to handle fruit and vegetables in terms of checking the quality of them at this point in time. Jocelyn Brunner was planning on opening this week from 12 to 4, Wednesday to Saturday. Now I'm second guessing my decision. What are downtown business owners' opinions? And I see Barry Maybuck also said, I was hoping to take direction from the province in terms of opening, since we are not considered an essential service. Yeah, with that call on, for both of you, I think with that call on Friday with MP Morrison and Emma Klobuchar, I think we can lean on them for some clarity on that messaging. I agree it's gray in terms of essential business and not. Yeah, I don't have an official opinion or official stance on this, but I feel for the businesses that need to see some kind of income happening, and I think you've got to weigh up your own decision. I think if you can operate in a safe manner and if you've got a case to do so, then it's worth considering what that option looks like for you. You could certainly call into Doug's office, I think would be fair as well, and ask for clarity around specifically your case. I know there's a million different examples out there. Mayor Miller again, and maybe even, sorry Al, and maybe Clara, I see you on the call as well from Radium. Is there anything municipality-wise or direction from the municipalities that are able to offer some clarity on that?
Certainly, Pete, from our end, it's basically we're just kind of following what our medical people are asking, and they're suggesting essential services are the only ones to be open, but I certainly leave that up to the discretion of the business owners. That's I feel for every business owner in this community and valley, and so whatever makes sense in their particular case.
Okay, Clara, did you want to add a comment on that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what Al said. It's pretty hard to argue with a public health officer that is actually being seen to be a leader across the country. And we're putting a lot of stock in what she's saying, and then also Dr. Mannheimer and his team here in the Valley. And we're doing really well, and we have really healthy communities, like from a medical standpoint. You know, it'd be awkward if we jump the gun and cause problems where there aren't any. On the other hand, there are some businesses that are working really hard to follow the guidelines and are opening in a very limited way. And I agree with Al there as well. You know, we have to do what we have to do, but keep the principles and the idea of the larger picture in mind when we do it.
Great, thanks so much to both of you for that. Christine Du Bois made a comment, what is being done to damage control after elected officials have made Alberta customers feel unwelcome and unappreciated. We don't have a ton of time on the call today, but if I may go back to Clara and Del, are you willing to comment on that? And before you do, maybe just to, while you collect your thoughts there, Christine, I know on several calls that I've been on this week, we've talked about this, and I hope we can put some aligned messaging out with all parties involved in the near future. But I don't have a quick comeback to you on that right now, but we are aware, and we are working on some ideas for that, and we'll see what comes from that. But Al and Clara, if you don't mind maybe making a comment on that.
Yeah, certainly, Pete. I don't mind commenting on that at all, as I've been one of the ones that have been messaging out to have everybody please stay at home, whether you're from BC or Alberta or wherever. It was incredibly important, and that wasn't our decision here. That was from the medical authorities right across the country, right across the world, are all stating the same thing. In order to get ahead of this virus, we have to stay in place, stay at home. So that's been the message, and every message that I've put out for every radio station or TV, I've asked them the same thing, that I want the same opportunity when we get through this virus issue to be able to be on and welcoming people back, because this has been the most difficult thing that I've ever had to do, is tell people to stay at home. I'm a welcoming person and want people to come and enjoy our valley, and that's so important. But right now, we have to support our health officials. This is a public safety thing, and so that's what we've done. But again, in every station that I've been on, I've asked to make sure that I get equal opportunity to be able to be out there and welcoming, and they've all said sure enough. So I'm hoping that they stick to their words, and will allow us to be on there with that public welcome back.
Great, thank you, Al. Clara?
Yeah, so again, we're pretty aligned here, and I think most of you are aware that along the corridor in the Columbia Valley that we're all working really hard to speak with one voice and to be together. So that's who we are. The one thing I would add to that, though, is that we're not the only ones. If you talk to people from Fernie, from Kimberley, from Whistler, all of the resort municipalities, we're all in the same boat, and we're all feeling that same pain from some of our part-time residents. And so the messaging is going to be really important, that it's about everybody stay home. And one of the things that came out on a resort municipality call was that we need to tell our own people to stay home. We also need to not be running to Calgary. We also need to, not make trips that we don't need to. And a really disturbing thing happened here this weekend, where it was witnessed by one of our chamber people, where people walking along the canyon there, where the cars come through from the park, somebody stopped a car with Alberta plates and started yelling at them to go home. And then somebody from across the way in a motel started getting in on it. And that's not helping us either. So I feel like, again, this is a team effort. We need to work together in our messaging. And that was really disappointing for me. And I hope it's isolated, but my information is that around the interior, that's not isolated. So, part of our job will be to get that message out as well, that we are in this together, and we need a future. And so let's keep it civil. That's kind of my rant for the day. Sorry. Bye.
No problem. Thanks, and it's great to have you both on this call today and be able to offer those comments from your positions. I'm not seeing, Jesse, you seen anything else in the chat that I missed? I hope I didn't miss anybody in there.
I think what is coming out, though, like Pat's posted, so we're producing content 3 days a week. We want to share your business's stories. We want to share what's opened, how you've converted your businesses. So please email Pat, email myself, and we'll be happy to put collections of those together and get them out into our tri-weekly, is that what it would be? Or bi-daily newsletter.
Tri-weekly sounds good. I like that.
I'm gonna invent some words.
Yeah. Maybe just a couple of comments on the programs that are out there. The wage subsidy, in case you didn't see it, the 75% wage subsidy now only requires a 15% reduction in March revenues against either March 2019 or a combination or an average of January and February of this year. So if you're a newer business, maybe you just started up last fall, you didn't have any sales last March, they will let you compare average revenues from January and February rolling into March. And if you see a 15% decrease, that makes you eligible for that program. My understanding is also that they originally were making people apply each month for the subsidy, but my understanding now is if you're eligible for March, it's kind of automatic that you're eligible for April. And then you would look at May at a 30% reduction over prior last year, or again from the average of January and February of this year. Jocelyn, it's not live yet. I think they just passed legislation on a weekend, so we are waiting to see again the fine details when that program goes live, but I don't believe it's out there yet.
And applications will be through the your business CRA account.
Right, thanks, Jess. Yeah. And that loan program is live, and like I said, I have heard a local business was successful after 3 days. They've actually got their money from that program, so that's a great success story right there. That support is there. The original 10% wage subsidy is also still in play. So what's going to happen there is that's a deduction from your monthly remittance. Again, speak to your accountant and hopefully they can assist you with that. But if you were successful for both, my understanding is that they would kind of take the 10% out of the second round, out of the 75% when you were eligible for that as well. So I know at the chamber here, we're not immune to this as many other businesses are. We have to make the same decisions around our finances, and we are taking advantage of that 10%, and we're also running our numbers on whether we're going to be eligible for the 75% and looking at the loan programs as well. So we are in the same boat with you there.
I think it's also good, the announcement this week of Canada Separate Jobs grants. So another tough market is students and young people trying to enter the workforce. I'm not sure if it's going to be on new applications or those businesses who already have applications in, but it looks like there'll be 100% wage subsidy in the Summer Works Jobs Grant program. And what's been really great about that program is a couple of years ago, they changed the requirements. So you used to have to be a student returning to school. That program now just requires that you hire a youth. There is not that school attachment to it, so they need to be under 30 years of age. So I think that'll be a large benefit to a lot of our businesses. So keep your ears out if you've applied in the round that was due in February, and if not, if we get information that it reopens again, we'll be happy to share that with you.
Okay. Well, I feel like we have about 5 or 10 minutes left for any final questions or final thoughts or anything that that anyone would like to pose. I think we've covered everything in the chat room. So I'll throw it to the group. Is there anything anyone would like to raise or ask?
Hi, this is Paulette Williams with Radio Milk Park B&B.
Hi, Paulette.
I'm just curious, with continuing education, is there a way to do like a first aid online, or like to update your first aid and any of the other programs, so that once we're back in business, if people need those kind of things, you don't have to answer this today, but if you get back later, that would be fine.
Thank you, Paulette. And Michelle Wall, I see your smiling face on the screen. Michelle works at the College of the Rockies Invermere campus here. I may put you on the spot and just see if you could share any update from the college in that regard. Oh, sorry, I'll unmute you.
Okay, yeah, our first aid group, thanks Pete. We're working closely with WorkSafe BC. And at this point, we don't have any protocols in place for a first aid class that would allow physical distancing, but we're working on an online program. At this point, online programs don't meet WorkSafe BC requirements, so they have put an extension in place for current certifications. And we're just kind of playing it on, like most everyone here, just by ear, just to see what the next step is. Both Interior Health, we're working with them on the food safe requirements as well for hospitality. And we're looking to see how you can take food safe online, but the invigilation portion of it as well. We're trying to do that online piece too. So I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks, we'll have some better answers for you. I don't know if that helps or not, but current certifications are extended by WorkSafe BC if everyone has ORFE level 1 or Red Cross emergency or standard first aid. And then other than that, we are working to try to put some sort of online portion together that meets the requirements.
Great, thanks for the question, Paulette, and thanks so much, Michelle, for jumping in there with the response. Final call for questions or feedback or thoughts? I am seeing none. Going once, going twice. Jess, can you see anybody with anything?
I don't see any questions. Maybe throw it out there. If we could bring guest speakers on, or what opportunities can we help to support navigation, creating communities, wayfinding of information, like we're thinking Basin Business Advisors, we have the MLA and MP workshop. So is there anything or ideas that we can help you to navigate through this time or prepare your business? Very quiet out there.
Pretty quiet. Good. Well, Jess, maybe just as we're wrapping up, do you mind just throwing your email and my email into that chat box, and then people can reach out to us that way as well. And certainly if you visit that chamber website, sign up for the e-newsletters, it's a great form of communication that way. If you need any help on that front, events@cbchamber.ca is Pat Carrick's email address, and he's more than happy to help you out as well. But thank you so much, everybody, for making the time today, and thanks to those that jumped in and added some comments. We look forward to doing this every Wednesday with you for the month of April, and please feel free to share feedback with us, share questions if you didn't feel comfortable asking them today. Somehow this recording will be available. I don't know how to do that yet, but I will figure it out, and I'll also copy the comments from the chat as well, so we've got those recorded as well. So thanks, everybody. Hang in there, be kind and be healthy, and keep smiling as best you can, and we'll see you next week if we're not in touch before then. Thank you so much.